This is 1 million subscribers. I released my first video just over 4 years ago, and I can't believe I've reached 1 million subscribers. But 230 videos later, I have, and today I'm gonna do something extra special to mark the occasion. What I mean by that is, in this video, I'm going to take a look back at the 12 best moments I've had in my first 1 million subscribers. Then I'm going to take a look back at all the other great memories I've had over the last 4 years. Without further ado, it's time to get started with number 12, the time I got to drive a Porsche Carrera GT. The Carrera GT is my all-time favorite car, and I knew I couldn't say no when I got an invitation to drive one from my friend Phil at Porsche of Beechwood near Cleveland. I stopped in Cleveland in the middle of a 6,000-mile road trip just to film this car and get behind a wheel of a vehicle I've idolized since 2005 when I first saw one on the road. I edited the video in a hotel room in Sandy, Utah, and when I finished, it was over 10 minutes long, my first video ever to cross the 10-minute mark. I could barely sleep that night because I kept thinking nobody would ever want to watch a 10-minute YouTube video, but boy was I wrong. That video is at 2.2 million views, and it's one of the most popular Carrera GT videos online. Now, all my videos are over 10 minutes long, and my average viewer watch time is higher than most other car videos. Next, the number 11 best memory in my first 1 million subscribers, that would be the time I used my Ferrari to attempt to pick up women. This is the first video I ever did that got really popular, especially because it came at a time when there were a lot of viral videos showing women fawning over men in sports cars. Of course, men who actually own sports cars know that's a fallacy. The only people you'll really attract with a sports car is other men. I filmed this video with my friend Perry, and I remember driving through mall parking lots in Atlanta, creepily filming women, proving they didn't care about some stupid Ferrari. The closer interactions with actual women were all staged, but they helped prove the point, and to this day, I still get comments on this video from viewers, dozens each day, with suggestions about how I could pick up women, ranging from a newer Ferrari to better shoes. Number 10 is an obvious one. That would be the time I got my Aston Martin and told you all about its warranty. You may remember?
An unlimited mileage, bumper to bumper warranty.
An unlimited mileage, bumper to bumper warranty.
Bumper to bumper, unlimited mile warranty.
Before this video, I had limited prosperity on YouTube, with videos only getting really popular when they found some viral success. Things have been more popular ever since I told you about my bumper-to-bumper warranty, and I even used this name for my last book, which came out in 2016. I never really expected so many people would latch onto this, and I also never expected that I'd have to explain to so many people that my Range Rover bumper-to-bumper warranty came from CarMax, and my Aston Martin bumper-to-bumper warranty came from Aston Martin. I get it though, it's pretty confusing. I filmed this video in Fairmount Park here in Philadelphia, and it took just 45 minutes. Proof that sometimes success comes easier than other times. Number 9 is the most popular video I ever made and one of the most memorable, the 2017 Ford GT. In May 2017, AutoTrader was invited to attend the launch of the new 2007 Ford GT in Tooele, Utah, and my bosses thankfully suggested I should go. Contrary to some of the accusations made by others, I paid for my own flight to Utah and got my own rental car for this trip, and when I showed up at the launch, it was time to get to work. You rewarded that work with major success. This video now has over 6 million views, and it's the most popular video on YouTube about the new Ford GT. Many of you remember number 8 because you're always asking me about it, the time I almost crashed the Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Take a look.
There you go.
Shit. Oh my God!
After I bought my bumper-to-bumper Aston Martin, I figured I'd make a bunch of videos with it, but then it broke. So I drove to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to pop in on a guy named Mike, who then had a Dodge Challenger Hellcat and a YouTube channel with just 64,000 subscribers. Mike, of course, is Street Speed 717, and his following has grown almost tenfold since then, and his success has been tremendously impressive to me, but it probably wouldn't have been a very good thing if I had crashed his car, which I nearly did. It was a wet, cold day, and I had forgotten the car was in track mode with no traction control when I decided to floor the accelerator. In that video, you see the car get loose and you see me freak out, but you don't see how narrow that road was and how there were trees on the other side that I surely would have hit, which would have destroyed the car and maybe injured us. After this, I got an insurance policy to cover the cars I'm driving when I'm filming videos. Number 7 is an all-time favorite, the video I made where I called the Tesla Model X the worst car ever made in the title. Of course, the actual video was a little different. Late last year, I was contacted by Turo, which is the Airbnb for cars, a company that lets you rent out other people's cool cars. They offered me a budget to do one review a month, and I said yes. The first car I decided to do in December 2016 was a Tesla Model X, which was brand new at the time. For months, I had heard angry reports from supposed car enthusiasts about how flawed the Model X is, the doors, the autopilot, the range, the practicality, so I decided to put it to the test, and I saw that most of these complaints were stupid or flat out wrong. In the ensuing video, I made fun of all the people who make these complaints, but I did it sarcastically. I titled the video, "Here's Why the Tesla Model X is the Worst Car Ever Made," and I went complaint by complaint and debunked them all. I felt bad for the clickbait title, but I never do this stuff, and I thought it'd be hilarious, which it was. To this day, I still get dozens of nasty comments every single day from people who only read the title to this video, criticizing me for how much of an idiot I am who knows nothing about cars. Little do they know, they're the idiots. Number 6 is a favorite of mine, the time I took my giant military-style Hummer to the racetrack. In 2015, I owned a military-style AM General Hummer and a Nissan Skyline GTR at the same time. I was contacted in June 2015 by a guy named Ron, a racing instructor with a local group, who asked if I wanted to bring my Skyline on the track at New Jersey Motorsports Park. I replied with a better idea: what about my Hummer? Ron said yes, and I drove my Hummer to the track and then on the track while all the rest of the racers were having lunch. A few people came on the track with me, giving the impression that we were actually racing, but they were going about 1/10 as fast as they could have gone, although it's worth noting I was absolutely flat out in my Hummer, which caused it to overheat after just a few laps. I ended up getting a call from the general counsel for the National Autosport Association, the group who had rented the track for the day. Fortunately, he was a fan of mine. Most of us will never forget number 5, my review of the 2015 Maserati Ghibli, and specifically the incident with the toothpaste. Here it is.
Here's another reason I know the Ghibli is not an $80,000 luxury car. Take a look at the panel gap between the door panel and the rest of the trim. This panel gap is insane. It's ridiculously large. You could stick a tube of toothpaste in here, as I shall now demonstrate. All right, time to stick a tube of toothpaste in a Maserati panel gap. All right, here we go. It fell out. It's too big. We need a bigger tube of toothpaste. There we go. Tube of toothpaste in a Maserati panel gap. I had driven a few Maserati Ghiblis since they came out a few years ago, and I knew the car was total crap. When I actually rented this one in Nashville for a few days, I realized it was even worse than that. This review was scathing, but I never heard a single word from Maserati about it, which is unusual when you make a negative car review, probably because they knew everything in it was true. The most memorable moment came by accident. I needed something to illustrate how bad the panel gap was between the door and the B-pillar, and I happened to be leaving Nashville that afternoon, so I had my suitcase in the car. I found a tube of toothpaste, and the rest is history. More people ask me about this review than basically anything I've ever filmed, and I often think if I've had any one video where my opinion had an impact on the sales or value of the car, it was this video on this car. It's hard to top that, but number 4 does it. That would be the time I used my 1997 Land Rover Defender to run over an Audi Allroad and also an old Kia that belonged to my friend Filippo. My friend Filippo had a crappy old Kia Spectra he had purchased from a coworker for $1, and it got him through his senior year of college. When he graduated, he got a job and he purchased a respectable Ford Focus, and he abandoned the Kia in West Philadelphia with the key inside. In the year it was sitting there, nobody took the Kia, but someone smashed the windshield, and when I got my Defender, we eventually decided we had to use it to crush the Kia. My friend David runs a car dealership in the Philadelphia suburbs called Automobili Limited, and I told him about my plans, and then I was looking for another car to crush simultaneously. He found an Audi Allroad, which was perfect, as I spent a lot of my writing career making fun of the Allroad for being ridiculously unreliable. The end result was YouTube magic, a bright yellow SUV running over 2 derelict cars after we hilariously destroyed them. I'll never forget this one. Number 3 is probably the greatest adventure I ever had. The time I drove my Aston Martin on a frozen lake in Vermont in the middle of February.
Almost 2 years ago, we had a crazy snowstorm here in Philadelphia, and my friend Matt and I took my Aston Martin to the park to show just how badly it performs in snow. We thought that was the end of it, and we were just having fun, but I wasn't ready for the rage-filled commenters who angrily admonished me, saying the car would perform a lot better with winter tires. Well, duh, I was just kidding around, and I knew it would do badly with summer tires, but then I was contacted by Nokian Tire, who makes some of the best winter tires on the market, offering me a set of studded tires for free. They sent me the tires, I mounted them on my Aston, and then I drove to Nokian's US headquarters in Vermont to try my snow tests again, only to find Vermont was having an unseasonably warm winter and there was no snow anywhere. Never fear, my friend Bill Leedy took the day off work just to accompany me to Lake Iroquois, a frozen lake near Williston, Vermont, which he insisted was totally safe for me to drive my Aston Martin. I've never been so nervous or so excited, and when people ask me about the craziest thing I ever did for a video, that was it.
Now we're down to the final two, and number 2 is an easy choice. That would be driving the Ferrari F40.
I've driven a lot of amazing and important cars in the course of filming these videos, from the Lamborghini Countach to the Porsche 918 Spyder and the Carrera GT, but nothing is on the level of the Ferrari F40, which I borrowed from a Philadelphia exotic car dealership called LBI Limited. I was incredibly nervous before getting behind the wheel, and I still remember the moment the cover came off, meaning we were going to drive this thing. I was going to drive this thing. Not only was it scary to drive the F40, but I drove it down Interstate 95 in the city of Philadelphia, one of the most congested, narrow, and frequently under construction highways in the entire United States. In the end, I spent about an hour behind the wheel of the car on a wide variety of roads, which was amazing. It was a harrowing experience, but it was worth it, and the ensuing video was tremendously popular. Plus, I didn't damage the F40. Still, when people ask me what the best part of driving the F40 was, the answer is obvious. When I handed back the keys to the guys at LBI Limited, meaning I was no longer responsible for it.
And that brings me to my number 1 moment of my first 1,000,000 subscribers. That would be the time I tricked you into believing I had bought a Chrysler PT Cruiser until I ran it over with my Hummer.
My all-time best YouTube moment started in an apartment complex parking lot in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. That's where I bought a 2001 Chrysler PT Cruiser with fake wood paneling and no license plate except for an expired temporary plate that was registered to a Pontiac G6. Over the course of the next few days, me and my friends Matt and Sean reviewed the PT Cruiser, which is to say we subjected it to some insanely stupid tests, like hammering wood boards to the exterior for extra wood, painting the dashboard, lighting the seats on fire, and pouring food and drinks all over the interior. In the end, I used this video to introduce my Hummer to everyone by using it to run over the PT Cruiser. This video wasn't very popular at first, but it's gained big numbers over the years, and I still remember the cold day in February when I gathered all my friends in a junkyard parking lot to watch a Hummer roll over a Chrysler PT Cruiser. We dealt with some shady characters, and the PT Cruiser was destroyed, much to the chagrin of some commenters, but it was worth it.
So those are the top 12 moments of the first 1,000,000 subscribers, but it doesn't end there. Here's a look back at all the other amazing things that have happened over the last 4 years.
opens right up. Be careful when you're opening the hood though. And it's in the front. Open it up, you can open it up. And once you open it up, so I opened the hood to find out what the underbonnet jewelry pack could be. Yes, you can. The door is rear hinged. Now the door is up, and that looks really cool. You press this little thing, the door pops up, and then you're in. The tonneau cover opens right up. A little effort, and you have to be very careful. And you're in. You press a little button inside the car, and it pops open. Watch back there. Now the hood is in this position. Push a little thing, and a step comes out. So, boom, boom. Now I got a railing. Look at this. Look how easy that was. And the door handle pops out so that you can reach down and open them.
I love that song, and if you liked it, you should go on Spotify and check out some more of Vince Viccaro's music. Now, in case anyone is still watching, I want to devote the last few minutes of this video to saying something important. Thank you. First off, thank you to anyone who's ever lent me a car to review on my channel. If you watch this channel a lot, you'll notice that I don't usually take press cars like a lot of other channels because I try to remain free of as few outside influences as possible. Instead, I rely on the kindness of strangers to provide me with the cars that you see every week. And if you've ever lent me a car, I really appreciate it. This channel wouldn't be possible without you. I feel a really special connection to anyone who's ever lent me a car, cheap or expensive, one or many, from Austin in Atlanta with the Yugo to McLaren Philadelphia with the new 720S you'll see next week. Anybody who's ever lent me a car, I really, really appreciate it. Extra special thanks to Mehdi and Tate at Exclusive Automotive Group, to David at Automobili Limited, and to Nick and the guys at LBI DJI Limited. Next, thank you to anyone who's ever picked up a camera and helped me film a video. Everyone who's ever helped me film even one scene or one take has been important to me, but special thanks to Perry. You gave me your entire summer in 2014. I don't know how I would have filmed those videos without you, truly. And to Filippo, we've met some interesting people and some interesting cars, and I thank you so much for your help and your friendship. Let me see it now. To my people over at AutoTrader, thank you. Scott, when you picked up that magazine all those years ago, you changed my life, and I couldn't be more grateful for the mentorship and the friendship over the years. To Tara and Brian, you've given me the greatest job I could have ever asked for, and I couldn't be more proud to write all those columns over at autotrader.com/oversteer. Of course, thank you to all the viewers, everyone who watches, tweets, posts, comments, even complains, and of course, thank you to everyone who is subscribed. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll notice that I do things a little bit differently from some of the other channels. I try to avoid most of the clickbait, the misleading video titles, the giant text in the thumbnails to try to get your attention, and I have never asked anyone to subscribe to this channel, but you have anyway, in huge numbers, 1 million of you, and I couldn't be more grateful. You've given me a great life, and I will continue to do my best to make the videos that you seem to enjoy so much. And to my wife doesn't know a thing about cars. She couldn't tell a Ford Taurus from a grapefruit, but she watches my videos every morning when she's getting ready for work. To my wife, when we started this, when I quit my job to do this, there were 2 of us who believed that it could work out like this, me and you. 200 million views and 1 million subscribers later, and it isn't just us anymore. Thank you. Without your support, I would still be sitting in a cubicle in Atlanta, banging away at Microsoft Excel. Thanks again to everyone for watching, and I promise I'll continue to do my best to keep it to just cars. No vlogging, no politics, no misleading titles, no rampant clickbait, no begging you to subscribe. Just cars, at least until the next one of these videos at 2 million subscribers.